In a fantasy world, there was an arena in a certain island where the strongest warriors gathered to fight and gain fame and wealth. For some unknown reason, most of the excellent fighters are female with massive assets. One time, the main character was lost in a dungeon and found himself in a weird chamber. Suddenly, he got an intense migraine. Then a bloke was talking to his brain and grant him the power of the cultured villain. The homie told him the specs of his new powers, and it was a mind control ability, or also known as hypnosis. He was very excited with his new powers, because he already know that he was the chosen man of culture. His goal was to get revenge, since he was the bullied lowest ranking warrior on the arena. The main character started his conquest, and his first target was the battle nun. His hypnosis was very effective on his opponent, and she was experiencing the global warming effect. The main character changed the rules, and instead of doing a normal combat, it will be a showdown battle of clapping culture. He used his thrust of destruction attack, and she was complementing the stats of his sword, because it was thicker, longer, and harder than her husband's sword. Then this female warrior was spraying her crystal clear water. The main character stopped his clapping ritual, but she was craving for that addictive activity, so she conceded defeat, and requested for a continuation. It was an easy win victory for the main character, and he celebrated it by giving her a white magic explosion. The battle nun have a good sportsmanship, so she bowed down to thank the main character for good game well play. In a bar, the main character was drinking alcohol, and he was approached by a female. He did not call her by the N-word, because that would be racist, so he called her dark elf. This dark elf was very suspicious of the cultural villain, because he was the lowest rank in the arena, and suddenly he easily raised his rankings. The main character used his dark magic, and surprisingly, she was not affected by it, because she was immune to dark abilities. Bruh. The next day, it was his fight against the dark elf. He was already at a big disadvantage because of her immunity. However, the plot armor got him covered, so he awakened a level up ability of his hypnosis. The upgraded dark magic was able to break her immunity, and the main character was now smiling with intensity. The audience were cheering, because they will see a clapping combat in real life. He was giving the dark elf a helping hand, so she was unleashing a level 100 water fountain. After that, the clapping ritual was performed, and it was her first time to participate in this kind of culture. She was complaining, because a lowly human was dominating her. It seems like she was the racist in this anime. However, our kind main character did not call her the N-word as a revenge, instead he gave her buckets of his magic seeds. The main character snapped his finger to free her from his body-stopping ability, so all of his recent attacks to her was flashed in an instant that made her coming to her defeat. During the night, the main character was ambushed by an assassin. The assassin wanted him to withdraw from the fight tomorrow. However, that would be very suspicious for the audience, so he suggested that he will do a Hollywood-level acting, and be defeated eventually. The assassin accepted his words and left. The next day, he found out that his next fight would be against the undefeated champion. Her name was Stella, and she was wearing the maximum defense bikini armor. The cultural villain was very excited, because even if he will intentionally lose today, he will win something better instead. Their battle started, and the main character was able to easily disarm her with hypnosis. The main character started controlling her movements, and she was confused that her body was not following her brain. For some unknown reason, she was producing the crystal clear magic juice. Maybe she wanted his clapping ritual. Anyways, the main character gave her the first time clapping ritual, and he was not holding back, because that would be disrespectful to the honor of your opponent. Then he gave her a white magic explosion, and she thanked him for his kindness. The main character was appreciating her massive assets, so he was using them to the full potential to sharpen his blade with friction. Then plug her mouth with his legendary sword to stop her from talking. In addition, the main character was feeding her with magic milk that is rich in calcium. After that, the main character started his acting, and he was role-playing as the loser. The audience were shocked, probably from seeing his cringe acting, or from seeing a high-level clapping. It hurts the main character's pride to lose, but at least he was able to experience a high-quality meal. After his loss from Stella, his ranking was dropped to the double digits. Anyways, his main plan was not to become rank 1, but his plan was to get revenge to the people who looked down on him. Suddenly, Stella appeared, and she was confronting the main character. She cannot accept her victory, because obviously she lost in their battle. Stella requested for a rematch, and the cultural villain was very happy to play with his food. She haven't learned her lessons, so the main character will teach her about her weak spot. Her special chamber was her weak spot, and the main character is training that part of her using his enormous sword. She was enduring his intensive training, because that is the way to become a great warrior. The main character was using the thrust of destruction, and he was high-fiving her backyard peaches. She started complimenting the greatness of his sword, so the main character rewarded her honesty with a white magic explosion that shaken up her brain cells. Then she thanked him for the free training course. In the next scenario, the dark elf was pestering him again. The main character used his dark magic, and cursed her that she cannot calm herself down, unless she drinks his nutritious magic seeds. She felt her intense craving for his seeds, so she ran away from him to deny her cravings. The dark elf went to the forest, because it was a good place to play a single-player game. The curse engraved to her was very powerful, so she cannot stop herself from solo playing. The main character followed her, and he was watching her solo gaming. He showed her his legendary sword, and she immediately started handling it like a professional. She wanted his magic seeds, so she was summoning his seeds using her oral incantations. The summoning ritual was a success, and she was enjoying the nutritious magic seeds. However, it was not enough for her, because she was a woman with a massive appetite, so she was riding on the iron Pegasus to feed the other mouth too. Then the main character gave her a creamy magic explosion. In the next scenario, the combat nun was apologizing to her husband for getting a rank down on the arena. Her husband was very considerate, and he don't mind having a new partner. Anyways, behind her was the main character, and he was farming the cake in her backyard garden. Then the main character also farmed the melons, and he was handling those delicate grade A melons with care. Her husband seems to be cooperative in this scenario, and her husband was cheering for his wife, because the main character was using his mind control on the couples, so basically, the main character was the NTR man. The main character showed them his legendary sword, and he asked the warrior nun to review her combat skills using his legendary sword, so she will know the reason why she was defeated in the arena. She started her technique review by reviewing her mature woman skills of Gulp Gulp 9000. Then the technique was transformed to the 69,000 eating position. After that, she received her exploding share of magic seeds. They went to the backyard, and the main character commanded her to position to get ready for his backyard barrage. The main character performed the backyard clapping ritual, and they were enjoying the breezy air in the open. This was a backyard garden, so it was very normal for her to nourish the plants with nutritious golden water. Then she ride on the iron Pegasus, and she was a professional, because she was a matured woman with years of experience. The clapping ritual reached the conclusion, and it was able to summon his magic seeds deep in her sacred sanctuary. After that, the main character was invited in the top of the arena to meet and greet some VIPs. They all know about the main character's power. However, they did not call him to condemn him, instead they are willing to support his work as the cultural villain of the show. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for a former low-rank warrior, so he accepted this offer. That's the end of this cultural anime recap. However, sadly there was no episode 3, so we are not able to see some assassin dungeon slaying in action. By the way, here is your research material, and don't get so mad towards the main character, because this is just a work of fiction, and thank you for watching.